this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Class is in session. Please be seated. Behaviors that get attention get repeated. Avoid the power struggle cause it will get you heated. Listen to Amanda cause she knows how to teach it. Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Yeah, yeah,
Good morning and welcome to the Parenting with a Punch podcast show. I am your host, Amanda Houle, founder of parentingwithabunch.com. Please visit my website to learn more. I have a fabulous guest here today by the name of Lacey Broussard. She is finishing out my sex series episodes. I'm so excited to have her on. She is a certified coach, tantra, jade egg, and sexuality teacher who uses deep transformational tools and techniques based in modern coaching modalities and ancient tantric wisdom and Taoist practices to help women like you reconnect with their sensual selves, discover their orgasmic genius inside, and experience deep intimacy and connection with their partner. Let's give a warm welcome to Lacey. Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, so excited to have you on.
Yeah.
So tell the world about your practice and the awesome work that you're putting out into the world. And for any of those that are watching, please don't be shameful in commenting, joining us live, sharing, or liking, because this does not have to be a taboo topic if we don't make it. Right, Lacey?
So true. Yeah. That's what I'm pretty much all about, is shaking up and breaking up the taboos around sex and motherhood. So yeah, I have a podcast of my own called The Multi-Orgasmic Mama. And you can find me at my website, multiorgasmicmama.com. And it's all about talking about how we as women have this, idea about what moms are supposed to be, and that we have to be the good mom and do all of the good things and sacrifice for our kids and wear ourselves out and get all stressed out and need depression meds and anxiety meds. And then, we're all strung out as moms because we're not actually sinking into our bodies. We're not giving ourselves time to feel, to really listen to what's going on inside of us, to really experience pleasure in our lives, or to really give our desires any, to even name our desires is even a huge thing for moms. So the podcast is all about helping you give yourself that permission to really find your own pleasure in motherhood, to be the sexiest mom that you want to be, because that day and age is over where it's not safe to be sexy and be a mom too. We can totally be sexy and be mamas too. So that's what I'm all
it's important for our mamas to hear that, because it's true. There is no shame in tapping into, our sexuality. And I'm sure when moms, I'm sure you see this with your clients, once they're able to do that, it exudes probably a totally different energy as a parent, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Because when mama's happier, everybody's happier. Mm-hmm. So it obviously spills over into your children, because when you really ignite your sexuality, so let me back up. When I work with women, most of them are coming to me from the space of, I don't have any desire for my partner anymore. Mm-hmm. Maybe they've had a baby and it's been 3 years, their kid's 3 years old now, and they still don't have any desire to have sex, or they just feel numb inside, dead. And then I have another group of people that come to me that are a lot of them are small business owners, maybe they're a health coach or something, and they've done all of this work on themselves. They've done all the self-care stuff, and yet they can't figure out what's wrong with them because they are like, they never really desire sex, or it's just not good, or they don't know how to make it better. And it just feels like, there's just this one part of my life that I just haven't yet looked at or dealt with. But all these other things are going great. And, so yes, there's something about the sexuality space that we're not looking at as a society to any depth. We're just taking on and living out the conditioning we've been fed, and we're not questioning it. We're not questioning what's true for us, what's real for us, how we really want to do relationships. We're not given the tools and practices that can really help us to have super satisfying, long-lasting relationships if we want. That's so common is that, we get with somebody and after 5 years we get bored, and, there's so little resources out there to really help a couple to reignite the spark that are like worth anything. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff out there, but it's so shallow and it doesn't really get to the point, and it really does not help with the connection and intimacy. Because what I find is that women who say that they lack desire and libido, that's not really what they're desiring. They're desiring more connection and to feel more on in their life. So that's just like a primary desire that they're saying they want, but really deep down is that they just want to feel more connected to their partners to really be heard and seen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure, we've talked a lot about this during the series, is the communication piece, right? And being able to, if that open communication, if there's a struggle there, then especially when it comes to the sex, that can be probably a very, very uncomfortable conversation to have. So to be able to like open that up. Now, do you have, you work with mostly mamas, but do you find that some of the partners end up, or that you end up working with the partners at all? Or is it more so, once like the mama has opened up a bit?
Yeah. So always first I'll work with the woman.
Okay.
And that's because in relationship dynamics, if you're coming to me for sex coaching and it's because you lack desire and turn on and you want to feel more intimacy and connection with your partner, a lot of it, like obviously you can't do his work, right? He's going to have, all of us have our own blocks to experience things we want to experience. So why are we going to bring two people in and deal with two people's crap all at the same time when I could just work with you? And then a lot of the times that clears everything up just by working with you. But if after a few months of working with someone and the relationship is still not improving, then I would consider doing relationship coaching with them. Because it's obviously that they're both in need of healing together and to be given tools and practices that are specifically designed for the couple instead of just women. So it just depends on the situation, but that's kind of how I work with women.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have to jump into some of the tools and, tips that you use. So I'd love to hear more about the tantric and sort of, I know you had mentioned before when we've talked prior to today that you bring a lot of different modalities, and I'd love to hear about some of that.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I work with women a lot with the jade egg. Okay. So we'll start there. What is a jade egg? So since most of the women that I work with come to me because they want to experience more turn on and desire, increased libido, all that stuff, the number one tool that's holistic, that is going to make you feel more connected to yourself and experience more love for your body and your sexuality than you could, the best tool you could use is a jade egg. So it's an egg-shaped stone that's made of jade. It's about maybe that big. Okay. And you stick it in the vagina and you do like, it's like yoga for your pelvis. Okay. So it's like the whole yoga, the way that it's been passed down is a very masculine tradition, actually. And this form of yoga is a very feminine form. So it kind of balances out your it brings the yoga to a woman's body and makes it relevant to a woman. Because it's so effective, I like to work with all of my clients with it in collaboration and conjunction with regular sex, love, and relationship coaching. So if we're doing a practice with a jade egg one time, and then the next session we're processing the sex issues, relationship issues, stuff like that. Then we're going to do a jade egg practice, and then we're going to go back to the things. So it really works well that way, because the jade egg brings up so much stuff while helping you to experience a more toned pelvic floor, which is directly related to having stronger and longer lasting orgasms. Mm-hmm. And it's going to help you to feel more. So if you experience any pain or numbness down there, that's all eventually over time with a consistent practice going to make you feel something. You're going to start feeling more than you've ever felt before. It's going to awaken and ignite your sexual energy so that you actually learn how to move it through your body. Because a lot of us are like having sex and experiencing orgasm that's very localized to our vaginas, right at our clitoris. Yet we're missing out on so many different sexual experiences that are available to your body. I mean, there are an infinite number of types of orgasms you can have, and we're only experiencing this really small amount. So working with the jade egg and with tantric practices really, it opens up so much more possibility for you to experience so much more in your sexuality, whether you're with a partner or if you're not. And that's why I've done all the trainings in Tantra and Jade Egg, because they're just so beautiful to bring them inside of a relationship and see what happens with a couple that, maybe they've been together for 10 years and things have gotten kind of boring. Well, they won't be boring for much longer when you start. I was just going to say,
it's not boring anymore. They must have completely fallen back in crazy love and having fun and
yeah, pretty much.
I've heard a little bit, and we've talked a little bit about the jade egg, but that is absolutely amazing. I can't even fathom, especially because we see such a high divorce rate, that, a lot of it, I think, probably goes back to the communication, right? And then the communication stems from if there's not an active sex life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a lot of the times, and this could be pretty stereotypical, and I don't mean for it to sound so, but a lot of the times it's the woman that loses the sex drive, mm-hmm. and feeling like she's just doing maintenance sex all the time, just to get him off of her back and just to keep him satisfied so he'll stay around, right? Mm-hmm. That gets old. That gets old, especially with kids, and you're already drained. But what I'm helping women to see is that when you actually look at and focus on your own sexuality, you're going to start to ignite it. And then it becomes like a self-starting mechanism. So, okay. But when your sexuality becomes ignited and when you're focusing on it, and you're actually doing the practices, you actually have more energy. So it's a lot like when you go to a health coach, right? And you're going to have to change some things. Okay. So you would never expect to be completely healthy if you never went to the gym or worked out. Right. But we somehow have this assumption that we expect our sex lives and our relationships to just happen without having to put any work on it or like learn anything new or like reach out to anybody to help us with it. And, I think just normalizing the fact that everyone has these hangups is so important. Like there's no shame in admitting that, man, my sex life has really gone down since I had a kid and I really want to work on it. Like there's no shame in that. That happens to almost everyone, and what I do is to really help women realize that, you can work on it and it's okay. You don't have to be ashamed of it. You can get that back.
Now, I know we talked a little bit before too, is you typically see, moms of once the children have gotten a little bit older. So like in the early childhood years, it's just not something that they prioritize. Why do you think that is? Because I see the same thing. And I don't know if it's probably a combination of things, right? But with the shame or the judgment or thinking that it's going to get better with time or that it's going to go away. And, then it's 3, 4, 5 years later and it's like, oh shit, now I'm at this place and now I need this, level of support that I'm literally like drowning over here. Why do you think through your experience, what have you seen with that in the early childhood and why do you think moms don't reach out in the early years?
I think it's just because they're in survival mode and they don't know how to get out of survival mode. They haven't found the right support. They don't even know they need support. There's so much shame in just reaching out and asking for help and accepting it. That's a cultural thing, and I can't help that. That's not what I do. That's what life coaches are for. Once you're point. And that's why the people that come to me have generally worked on themselves in a lot of other areas. They've worked with coaches before. They've done the stuff. They've read the books. They're at some level of giving themselves proper self-care.
Right.
Because it's like a very basic human need. And if you're not fulfilling your own needs and reaching out for help and support, that's somebody else's job to help you with that.
But absolutely.
Yeah. So, once you can get out of that survival mode and be like, okay, there's more to life than just surviving here. I really want to experience pleasure and ecstasy and bliss in my life. Who goes around feeling completely ecstatic and blissed out all the time? Not many people. So we don't even know what's really possible to experience in a life as an adult that's not something enmeshed in stress and anxiety, because it's all we ever see and that's all we're ever modeled.
So true.
So of course it's hard for a new mom to reach out and get the support. Every now and then I'll get some, but that's because they've probably had their first kid when they were 35, 38 years old. And they're really at some level of, having done self-development and some level of consciousness is already there. And then knowing that they need to work on things is there.
Right.
But it's really hard to new mom to work on her pelvic floor and sexuality when she's having to wake up 6 times a night because she has to feed her baby too. So there's just the basic time thing,
right?
Which can be a problem. But for most people, it's when the kids are becoming a little more self-sufficient, when they have the time, the space, and the energy to really reach out and work on this.
Right.
And hopefully it's not late.
I know. I was just going to say that's but again, that's not, our jobs are not to try, they have to be ready and willing to make those changes and to seek out that support. And, the professionals out there like you and I that are giving that type of support are the ones that are not judging you. We're not shaming you. We're here to give you that support because we know that you need it. And once you get that support, your life is forever changed.
Right.
Definitely. To live in that anxiety and you hit it, anxiety, stress driven, constantly on the go, and I'm on the East Coast. So I feel like it's even, we're even more just go, go, go. And not very many are taking the time to really, really pay attention to their relationships. And it ends up suffering.
Yeah, definitely. So, but we and get a divorce and it costs us anywhere from 20 to 50 grand sometimes. And yet we're like, oh, we'll pay for that, but we won't pay for someone to help us, actually work on our shit while we're in the shit, So right. It's where are your priorities? You really have to ask yourself, do I really want to work on it or do I not? And maybe it ends in a divorce and that's sad. I did it myself. I've been through it too. And, but I didn't have any resources. I didn't know anybody doing what I did. It just wasn't available. I didn't know people that could help me. I just thought that divorce was the only answer, Right. So there's some level of lack of support for you just don't even know where to turn. And right. that really breaks my heart. But I am excited to, see so many other people getting training and doing what I'm doing in the sex and relationship space, because it is definitely an area that we're not looking at the same level we're looking at other things like health.
Right. No, yeah, right. It's just like going to, for a routine checkup, the doctor, the dentist, taking your kids to the doctor to getting their shots, or, we don't even think about that routine part of the relationship.
Yeah. It just becomes monotonous, and it's we just expect that it'll always be good. I mean, nobody ever goes into a relationship thinking that they're ever gonna get divorced, or that it's gonna get so bad one day that they're gonna have to work on it. But I mean, that's why we have to realize that, yes, when people say relationships take work, that does not mean that you just get to not do anything about it for 10 years or however long. Like, yeah, they take work. So learning different tools and practices and working with coaches to really help you through such an important part of your life. I mean, there's really nothing more amazing and important and core to our being as humans than the relationships we have with others, because we are social creatures. We couldn't survive without healthy relationships. So
it is so true. Thank you for saying like those exact verbatim words, because our viewers need to hear that. We are in such a, I don't know. It breaks my heart. Like you said before, with the whole divorce rate, because I'm with these families and I hear it and I see it. And I hear often from, moms of younger children that, or even that when they're older, 6, 7, getting into the teen years, that they don't have time for sex and they're not making time for sex. And I just cannot fathom that, it's like, well, when are you going to figure out that this is something that needs to take a priority? Like, your relationship has to come first before your children, or you're straight up going to drown.
Yeah, you will. You will drown if you're not putting any energy or effort into your relationship as a parent. If you aren't, and you're going about like it's nothing, then you're lying to yourself. You really are. You're lying to yourself, because relationships are core. Our sexuality is core. It is the core of who we are. You would not have made the kid you made if it weren't for your sexuality.
Right. Carrie's here giving us prayer hands. Oh. Thanks, Carrie. This is true. Now, you talked about going in, starting off with like the jade egg and kind of, that is the starting point. And I think you mentioned, what is the Taoist practices? Like, what does that consist of? Is it more like, I don't know, spiritual guided type things, like with your sexuality or your bodies rather?
So the jade egg is a Taoist practice that was designed by women. So and it's for women. So they're from the Taoists, or, in China. So it's an ancient Chinese technique to help a woman really awaken and activate her sexual energy, and to learn what to do with it once it is awakened and activated. Yeah. So we think that our sexuality is just for turning us on and having sex, and, that's it. But actually, your sexuality in the Taoist tradition is part and parcel to you and your ability to go out and do your work in the world, and to really have a fulfilling, self-actualized life and existence. And that your sexuality and awakening and activating it and using that sexual energy is part and parcel to your ability to become awakened and to reach enlightenment. So yes, it is a spiritual tradition. It is very much a spiritual tradition that does not allow you to bypass looking at your sexuality, which is why I love it, and I'm in love with it so much, because we have all of these spiritual people out there that call themselves spiritual, and then they don't actually look at their relationships and sex lives, and they're so unintegrated that it's clear when you meet people that are like that they're not really living in integrity to, what they say that they're experiencing. It's like, I don't know. Have you looked at that too? Have you questioned your conditioning? Have you really thought about is this true for me? Have you really healed your sexual trauma? And we all have these and just when you think you've healed it and you've gotten to that next level of, okay, I've looked at this, I've healed this, there's always another level.
Yes,
because that's been so conditioned and ingrained, and there's nothing that's been so shamed and guilted than our sexuality and our bodies as women. And so this practice in particular is what can bring you back to your original essence inside of what your body was made to be and to experience as a sexual woman living a turned on existence. And that's what it can bring you. So there's extreme, huge possibilities in the practice. It's just a matter of how much you want to experience and take it for and really get into it and experience with it.
That is, I couldn't agree more. And there needs to be so much more education around that. And I really hope that, more continue to reach out and pay attention to sex and their relationships and really bringing that energy into their world, because it really boils down to quality of life. And those that are seeking out that type of support and paying attention to their relationships are the ones that are gonna live happy, healthy, thriving, relationships. And then that's going to carry on into years. And then they're modeling that for their children.
Yeah. And I really think that the Jade Egg practices have the power to break the cycle of guilt and shame and of disgust around women's bodies so that we don't pass it on to our daughters. Because when we heal it for ourselves, we're healing it for them too.
Yes, it's true. And having that healthy relationship with it and being able to instill that in with our daughters is important. Thank you for saying that is extremely, extremely true. I want to leave, I'm going to put your website down here on the bottom, but I just want to make sure. So it's multi-orgasmic.
Yeah, the multiorgasmicmama.com. Brand new website. It just launched last week, Gil.
Yes, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is extremely exciting. Okay, so we have the website here for anyone that wants to reach out to Lacey, has any questions. I want to give the opportunity in case we have anyone live on the show to ask any questions. It's not showing me if anyone is live right now, but is there anything else that you would like to share with any of our viewers watching or catching the replay as far as the website or anything that you can offer or that you're offering on the website for any type of resources?
Yeah, if you go on the website, there's a tab called Multi-Orgasmic Bliss. Mm-hmm. And when you click on that and sign up for weekly updates, I'm going to send you my 8-step checklist to unlock multi-orgasmic bliss. So this is basically the 8 core components of what I teach people to experience more in their sexuality. So if you're ever wondering kind of what the blueprint is for this, these 8 things. And so I kind of give you the whole rundown of this is what we work on. This is how you improve your sexuality and really open up and awaken to new sexual types of experiences so that we can, release all of the stuff, all of the traumas, all of the negative thoughts and beliefs we have about it. And this is how we do it. And that's what I give you in that checklist. So go check it out.
That sounds absolutely amazing. So anyone that is listening, you guys need to go check that out. Lacey, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was such a pleasure having you on, and I hopefully look forward to maybe collaborating in the future. And we just have one last, Carrie is saying, I'm a sex educator and believe in this with all my heart. Thank you for talking about this. The stigma of sex needs to be addressed. I will be reaching out. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Very important. But yes, thank you so much for coming on. It was truly a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to our final episode of the Sex series. It was so much fun today. Make sure you catch the replay on parentingwithapunch.com. Be sure to go to the website parentingwithapunch.com to check out my couples retreat, Costa Rica, November 1st through the 7th, 2018. As always, keep asking for more. Thanks, y'all.
Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Class is in session. Please be seated. Behaviors that get attention get repeated. Avoid the power struggle cause it will get you heated. Listen to Amanda cause she knows how to teach it. Yo, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Oh, this ain't parents out to lunch. No, this is parenting with the punch. Yeah, yeah,